On a frozen Christmas morning in the quiet mountain town of Red Willow, wealthy but lonely rancher Cole Maddox rode his horse along the snow-covered fence line, trying to silence the ache in his chest that always returned this time of year. Ever since losing his parents on a Christmas Eve 10 years earlier, the world saw Cole as a man who had everything: land stretching farther than the eye could see, a house big enough for 20 people, a reputation for being the strongest rancher in the valley. But inside he carried a silence so heavy that even the vast mountains couldn't swallow it. As he reached the old pine tree by the river where he usually stopped to breathe through the stillness, he saw something strange. 2 small twin girls, no more than 6 or 7, bundled in mismatched coats, boots that looked too thin for the weather, dragging a red wagon behind them with something covered in a blanket. They froze when they saw Cole, their eyes widening at the sight of the tall cowboy with the stern face and the silent aura. "Morning," Cole said gently, fighting the roughness in his voice. But the twins looked at each other nervously before the braver one stepped forward. "Sir, can you help us? We need to send this to Santa." She held out a wrinkled envelope with shaky handwriting. "Dear Santa, please help our mommy smile again." Cole blinked, confused and struck unexpectedly in the heart. He asked where their mother was, and the twins explained that she was at home crying because their father went to heaven last. Christmas had never been the same. They didn't want toys. They didn't want candy. They just wanted Santa to fix their mother's broken heart. Cole felt something shift inside him, something he hadn't felt in years. When he asked why they were out alone in the freezing cold, they said they didn't want to bother their mom, who didn't know they'd left. Cole knelt down, surprising even himself, and asked to see what was in the wagon. Lifting the blanket, he found a small wooden box filled with drawings, cookies shaped like crooked stars, and a locket with a photo of the twins' family before tragedy struck. "We were going to leave it on the hill," the second twin whispered, "so Santa can see it first." Cole swallowed hard, feeling emotion he hadn't let himself feel in years, rising like a tide. Something about these girls, their innocence, their bravery, their love for their mother, reached into the hollow places in his chest. He told them gently that Santa always hears children better when they're warm and safe. And after a moment of hesitation, the twins nodded, shivering. So Cole lifted them onto his horse, tucked the wagon under his arm, and rode toward their little cabin. When they arrived, he saw a young widow, Mara, pale from exhaustion, eyes red from crying, searching the yard in panic. When she saw the rancher drop the girls safely down, she ran to them, tears spilling, hugging them tight. Cole expected anger, but instead she whispered, "Thank you, thank you," with a trembling voice that shook him. As the twins rushed inside to warm up, Mara apologized for the trouble, explaining that she had been doing her best, but grief had made everything hard. Cole didn't know why he said it. Maybe the emptiness in her eyes mirrored his own, but he told her gently that no one should be alone on Christmas. Mara invited him in for tea, and inside the tiny dim cabin, he saw a home full of love and struggle. The girls insisted he stay. They asked if he could help them rewrite their Santa letter because he has cowboy handwriting. Cole laughed for the first time in years. Together, at a small wooden table, they crafted a new letter, not asking for toys, not for miracles, just for a little hope. Mara watched, realizing how easily this quiet, rugged stranger eased the heaviness in the room. When Cole prepared to leave, the twins stopped him, tugging his coat. "Santa listens to the people who help others," one whispered. "We think he'll listen to you most." Cole felt something warm stir in his heart, something he thought he'd lost forever. He promised the twins he'd deliver their message in a way Santa would never miss. As he left the small cabin, snow falling softly around him, he realized he wasn't riding into an empty Christmas anymore. He was riding toward something he didn't understand yet, something that felt like a beginning. And for the first time in a decade, he whispered, "Merry Christmas" to the mountains, hoping someone was listening. Viewers, if you're loving this emotional Christmas journey, don't forget to subscribe. Your support keeps stories like this alive every day. Cole returned to his silent ranch that evening, holding the twins' letter like it was something fragile and sacred. And for the first time since his parents died, he lit the old Christmas lantern. They had given him a lantern he had sworn never to touch again, because the memories hurt too much. But tonight, the memories felt different, warmer, softened by two little girls who believed in hope harder than anyone he'd ever met. He spent hours thinking of Mara, her strength buried beneath pain, the way she tried not to cry in front of her kids, the way her hands trembled when she handed him the girls' coats as if she were terrified of losing something else. Cole didn't sleep much. Instead, he carved small wooden figures, something he hadn't done since childhood, shaping tiny gifts for the twins, not toys, but symbols of courage and family. At sunrise, he loaded his truck and drove back to their cabin, intending only to drop off a basket of food discreetly. But the twins burst out the door in pajamas as soon as they saw him, cheering, "Santa's helper is back!" Mara stepped out behind them, cheeks flushed in the cold morning light, and Cole suddenly felt awkward, like a cowboy who had forgotten how to talk. She invited him in for breakfast, and he accepted, telling himself it was only polite. But as the hours passed, he found himself fixing the broken roof shingles, repairing the wood stove, and hauling firewood, while Mara made gingerbread, and the girls followed him around like he hung the moon. Mara saw something different in him, someone strong, gentle, quietly hurting just like her, but determined to carry everyone else's burdens. And slowly, the house filled with laughter again. That evening, when Mara confessed through tears that she felt guilty for not being able to give her daughters the Christmas they deserved, Cole told her softly, "You're giving them love. That's more than most people ever get." Then the twins tugged his sleeve and brought out a new letter, one they had written for him. "Dear Santa, please make Mr. Cole not lonely anymore. He's nice. He needs a family too." Cole froze, overwhelmed. As Mara's eyes widened with emotion she couldn't hide. And that night, as they all walked outside to place the letters in the snow for Santa, the sky burst alive with shimmering northern lights, casting colors across the frozen world. The twins gasped in delight. Mara whispered that it felt like a sign, and Cole felt something inside him heal. Without thinking, he wrapped his coat around Mara's shoulders when the wind turned cold, and she leaned into him, both of them realizing something had changed, something quiet but undeniable. Cole spent Christmas night at the cabin, asleep in a rocking chair with one twin on each shoulder, while Mara watched him with soft eyes that no longer carried despair. Morning came with laughter, warmth, and a sense of family none of them had expected, and when Cole finally rode back to his ranch, Mara called after him, voice trembling, "You don't have to spend next Christmas alone." He turned, heart full for the first time in years, and tipped his hat with a smile that said everything words couldn't. Viewers, if this story touched your heart, make sure to subscribe. Your support brings more emotional story times just like this to life.